Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comics News Today. Well, Denali, we have a lot of news to talk about, and I think it's going to be some interesting topics. Why don't you say hello to the folks, Denali?
Hey gang, aloha.
Yeah. And I'm glad to see we got a couple of guests in here with us, and we're going to get right into the news and talk about all of these things that are going on. Of course, New York Comic Con is still going on, so there's still a lot of news coming out of that. Before we get into that, let's cover a couple of topics for FanSpeak Facebook group itself. One, we are having that art contest for the page, so please get involved with that. Now, the art contest is really very simple. We are having a contest for a FanSpeak logo and for a FanSpeak mascot. And the winner or winners of those will be featured in a full page ad in Alterna Comics. We're going to advertise FanSpeak to try to get more people to come in and hear what we have to say. And we're going to use the winner's art to do so. Now, that's a really cool prize. So all you have to do is go over to FanSpeak, which the link is listed below, and you'll see right at the top there an announcement from our very own Denali here. Just go ahead and into that post and leave your art. So let's see if we have some cool things, guys. We want to see a lot of good art, and I think it's an amazing prize. I mean, to actually have your art in a comic book, that is cool. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, it
definitely.
is cool. Yeah, it absolutely is. Also, don't forget on the FanSpeak page, you can also leave any art you like, and we will share it. Also, any comic reviews or news opinions, and we actually have one of those today. We're going to get to. Also, don't forget that every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Bugbear's Basement, where we talk about just nerdy fun things. And on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we also have, of course, FanSpeak. Although this week, we are going to be having FanSpeak on Saturday simply because of obligations that I have. But that's not the normal time. But it'll be Saturday this week, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have a very cool guest coming this week. You want to tell them about that guest, Denelli?
Absolutely. Uh, it's been confirmed. Next Friday, you want to be here because we
Saturday.
have next Saturday.
Mm. Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, so next Saturday, you want to be here and for this live stream because we'll have a special guest, Mike Barron, on as a special guest.
Yes, Mike Barron. How cool is that, man? I grew up reading his Badger,
Yeah,
and he also does Nexus, and he's done some Marvel and DC work too. Mike Barron is a great artist. He's a great comic book creator. We're really looking forward to it. Man, how lucky we've been. We've had Gary Shipman. We've had
RT Bear.
Art T. Bear. I mean, come on. And now we're going to have Mike Barron on. This is really cool what's going on, guys. It's very, very, very exciting. But anyway, let's jump into the news. And we're going to do first is just talk about a couple of little things that, well, this first one's kind of sad news, huh, Denelli?
Yeah, absolutely. So I saw this tweet and wanted to share it out, saying from Eric Larson that somebody stole the original art for Savage Dragon number 88
Mm.
from where it was at New York Comic Con. So it's pretty much a shame. I hope that they find the individual, and I hope he does meet justice, or he or she meet justice.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. This,
so regardless of which side we fall in, stolen property is stolen property.
yeah, no, this is not cool at all. I mean, I understand in this community, particularly, we don't like Eric Larson because, well, he doesn't like us. I mean, he hates on us all the time, and we don't even know him. But it's not cool that someone took his art, and it's a sad thing. But it's just a little bit of news there. Next one is I thought was comedy, but Denali assures me that it's actually true. Spock has a beard.
Yeah, he's a beer
A
for
beard. Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah. I can't understand that. That doesn't make any sense. Chat, help me. I don't get it.
And,
How
and
does how does
this
Spock
is
have a beard?
because it's STD.
That is Star Trek Discovery, by the way, everyone. That is Star Trek Discovery. Just a disclaimer. But yeah, they did
Correct.
choose that name. How silly are they? That show is horrible anyway, and I'm a big Star Trek fan, and I just kind of wonder what the chat over there is thinking. Let's go over to the chat and see if we have any comments about that. We do have some people in here. Thank you all for joining us. We have Zero Whiskey. Hello, sir. William Reed. Hello. Pope Cthulhu. And he likes our idea for the art contest. It is a cool idea. We have James over there. Hello. We have Good Dog Press. How you doing, Manny? Tank Ferret. Yes. Some good artists up in here with us. And everyone's just saying hi and stuff like that. But if you guys have some any kind of points you want to make about any of the things we're talking about, you go ahead and I'll come back to the chat periodically and pick that up and talk about it. Okay. And yes, he didn't shave. It just seems very wrong. I know it's not a big important point, but it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. So, anyway, moving on. Now this one is going to have a little bit of conversation with us. The headline, as you see, it says the talent and diversity question at New York City Comic-Con Women of Marvel panel. Now, before we get into the article, I just want to say, it's kind of sad to me because actually, if there was like the Women of Marvel panel in a normal setting, that would be cool. Hey, let's go see what the ladies have to say. I'd probably go check out that panel. But this is not what this panel is about, and we all know that. So Denali, why don't you go ahead and tell the folks what this story is actually about?
So they're trying to reassure us that there's no preference treatment, for women to hire women with no experience. They're actually fair, and that if you wouldn't be asking a man, if they have experience for comic books. Chester, before we move on, read the names of who's in that panel, the All-Star Women of Marvel panel.
Oh, I certainly will, because they are all very, very recognizable, and not just from their purple hair. We have Judy Steffens. We have Sana Amanat. We also have Kathleen Wysensky. We have Margaret Stoll, Leigh Williams, Rachel Rosenberg, and Jen Bartel. Yay.
Yeah, so all of them were there. They were talking about, their experience of Marvel. And during the Q&A, when they have fans come up to the mic, they ask, women gets higher in comic just because women without previous in comic. And the VP came out and said, no, 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 no. If you have talent, it's all about bringing people into the medium.
Well, that's not true. That's a lie straight up.
Yeah.
Because they hire people all the time who have no talent at all just because they're the right color or right gender or right sexual preference. And this is the problem, right? This is what it comes down to. There have been all kinds of diversity in comics as far from the creator side since the beginning, actually. And it's very, very, silly that they do like this. I mean, you got to remember who created, Marvel Comics. It was a bunch of Jews, right? And they weren't the most popular people in America. I know a lot of people like to point to Germany and say bad Germany, but you got to remember at that time, culturally in the world, Jews had a very negative perspective. That's why Stan Lee Lieberman changed his name to Stan Lee, right?
And at that time, a lot, not just the Jews, but the Catholics as well. If you weren't a Protestant, you were hated on as well.
In America, particularly, yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And it still lingers, both for Jewish,
But diversity, right? I mean, it's just silliness. And the thing, like it is, if you're a talented person, no one cares what you look like. And sad thing, this is off the point a little bit, but you notice these really nice colored hair we have over here. It makes me sad because when I was a kid and I used to watch those Japanese anime that would come over to America, you always had the girls with the colored hair. And I thought one day it would be cool to have colored hair and it would be culturally neat. And but they've ruined it. They ruined colored hair. It's not right, man.
Well, in speaking of Japanese thing, the only reason why they had color hair was because they wanted to differentiate the different character designs, because at that time most of them kind of looked the same, and that's the way to differentiate. Hey, the girl with the purple hair is different from the girl with the blue hair, kind of deal.
And in Asian culture,
Correct.
like white hair and odd colored hair represents someone who is touched by celestial powers or someone who is unique or special. That's a very Asian culture thing.
Okay.
That's kind of the big thing behind that. Yeah, but it's interesting. Me Grimlock King 83 says a bunch of white women talking about diversity. Yeah, isn't it wonderful? I wish they'd come over here. They'd see that what diversity really looks like. It's a bunch of people who enjoy comic books and don't care what each other look like. Especially we got Booster over here. We don't care what he looks like. We don't care that he's a midget and he has very, very questionable political views. Sorry, Booster man. I love you. All right. Let's move on from this train wreck. All right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Moving on.
Now, here we go, another little article, and this has got some interesting tweets we can read, actually. Now, we all know and love Antonio Bryce and Kanan White. I mean, Antonio Bryce, I don't know much about his stuff. I've certainly backed his Indiegogo, and I'm looking forward to seeing his writing and stuff, but I do love the man. He's got a great sense of humor. He's a very nice fella. And, of course, Kanan White, as we know, and taking from Booster, Kanan White is a beast. That guy is an amazing artist. Never seen him before, but boy, I'm glad I have found out who he is. So let's go and see what the trouble here is, Denali. What seems to be the complaint about Antonio and Kanan's comic?
So you remember, and you kind of see it on the screen, the parody from the Mockingbird cover about "Ask Me About My Feminine Agenda," and now you see Antonio Bryce character Dark Santana wearing the same outfit as a parody of
Yeah,
that color. And DC artist Brett Booth is claiming that promotes violence about women. He was saying specifically if it wasn't the blood and it was all lotion, then it would be all right. But because it's blood, it's all negative. It doesn't work for him.
it doesn't work for him. Well, that's important that it doesn't work for him. Everything is about him, of course, and that's a key point when you want to understand what these SJWs are thinking. It's all about them, right?
Yeah, I
Everything they
mean,
say is about virtue signaling, right?
well, I mean, you can turn it the other way. If this was all white splatter on top of it, talking about lotion, then it wouldn't be all right for another different reason.
Actually, I think a lot more people would not be right with it than they are with this. But of course,
Yeah,
this, to be fair, they are mocking Marvel Comics and that Mockingbird image. They are mocking them. But that parody is often considered the height of flattery, isn't it?
absolutely. And this is actually, I'm pretty sure that Antonio is ecstatic that a DC Comic Pro is, showing this case. It's free advertising. It's
Yes, it
great for
is.
him. So congratulations, Antonio Booth. You are getting on people's radar even
Yes.
more.
Go to Indiegogo, check out Brand. Matter of fact, go to IndieCron where you can check out all the Indiegogos that are going on. Please do that. But let's take a look here. Brett Booth, I'll need some context. Okay, thank you. All right. He's got more down here. He keeps going on. You said about the blood. It doesn't work as just fun. Yeah, you're silly. Let's read this one here. Go ahead and read what Brett Booth says here in this one.
It's not coming off that way. Sorry. It's coming off as violence against women. And if that's what they're going for, as bad guys are, we're bad. Well, bad. But it doesn't come off as a spoof. It looks like a political statement because of what was spoofed. Just my opinion.
Mm. Well, let's take a hypothetical scenario here for a second. Let's say we had a bad guy, and that bad guy was going around, and he was a serial murderer, and his particular target were women. Okay, and this guy were killing women, and he was bloody, and he liked to mock women. Maybe he was attacking feminists specifically, and he wore that kind of shirt specifically because he's a woman feminist killer. All right. Now, that's a bad guy. He's supposed to be bad. We're supposed to hate him. We're supposed to cheer when the hero finally takes down the monster. I mean, that's kind of the point, right? I mean,
Correct.
but he's responding to this comment here from Mutual Feelings. The character is a supreme demon. I just made this point, I think. Remember in Dragon Ball how Kami had to cleanse himself by literally splitting his dark half from himself, and in the process creating King Piccolo? It's like that, but Santa Claus. The blood
Yeah,
sets the tone for the character. It's
which
costuming. Hmm,
yeah, and which I wouldn't be surprised if Antonio took that idea because he says he's a great, anime fan, and one of the cultural touchstone for the West um, is Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball
Of a certain generation, yeah.
of a
But I
certain
think his idea
generation.
is a
Yeah.
little different what he's doing with that,
Mhm.
but that's okay. We'll see when it comes out, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Uh, Here we have this from
So
Pete. I'll read Pete Woods, and you read Brett's response
yeah,
here. I read it the
and
same way. The blood with the shirt slogan implies violence against feminists. I have a hard time being convinced that that's not exactly what was intended. Okay.
okay. I don't like anything rapey. Even that new Dread movie really bothered me, so I might be overly sensitive, but as
Yep.
long as I'm not the only one, not calling for a ban or anything, but yeah, not for me. Okay, you're very welcome to your opinions. Some
Yep.
people do have problems with it, you know, but and that's how you interpret the art. Art is to be interpreted.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with a person having an opinion. They can have them. We can discuss and to disagree.
Mhm.
He is being overly sensitive, as everyone on his group is. But I have to give him credit. He's not calling for a ban or anything. He's just giving his opinion. That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see if he continues with that thinking, though, because they tend to say that kind of nice, warm stuff and then come out with the teeth and gnashing later.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead
So
and read what Chazer has to say here.
okay. One I happen to agree with. At first glance, it was definitely going to attract attention for all the wrong reasons.
Brett Booth says, "Why I suggested the suntan lotion. Then it's just a creepy, pervy guy, and that would be more satire." Not really, unless his comic is about a creepy, pervy guy. I think this is going to be a dark, very bloody thing, and I do believe it's dealing with heaven and hell type of concepts. To be honest with you, but anyway, Eduardo Tenorio says spoofing a Mockingbird cover and also promoting the comic brand can't really say Comicsgate is a hate and etc. when there is already a diverse following. Hmm. I don't think
Did
he
I?
you don't think he wrote that correctly. Go ahead.
Yeah. Did I say it was? But this image doesn't make it look good, and it doesn't work as a spoof. Aren't they supposed to be not political? But it's spoofing the political agenda of of Mockingbird and Chelsea Kane, who
Mm.
had them draw "Ask Me About My Feminist Agenda"
And of course, we
T-shirt.
won't talk about her man eaters, which is absolutely depraved. But let's be fair. Let me play devil's advocate for a
Yeah,
moment.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Out of all the Indiegogos I've seen, it's the only one I've seen that has any kind of political touch to it at all. The comic doesn't, but that particular picture does. The comic doesn't have anything to do with politics at all. It's a story they're telling, but that picture is intended as a political statement. So let's give them a little credit. So far, he's still not liking it, but not calling for mobs with torches and pitchforks. So let's continue. You go ahead and read Ruprick Martin's comment.
I like to think that guy killed and ate Mockingbird, then stole her shirt. It's what bad guys do. Also, that T-shirt stands for forced politicizations of comics. It was deserved to be sack-tired.
Now, see, I didn't look at it like that. Maybe that's exactly what they intended was that he literally defeated Mockingbird and took her shirt. I didn't think about that. That's interesting. Well, what did Brett Booth say to this? If I had done something about the patriarchy when it might have worked, his just doesn't. And again, I thought Comicsgate was against politics and comics, or is it only their politic that's okay? All right, well, now we're starting to shift away from I don't you can do what you want but I don't like it to no, you're wrong, mock mock mock. Okay, all right,
Okay.
let's see how it
So
goes.
so yeah, so it's talking. So he's okay if it was about fighting the man, fighting the patriarchy, even though that character is a bad guy, and we want to defeat it. And then
It,
Balmy, a bad guy, try. So in the reverse way, we want him to be defeated because he's putting down
mm,
those feminists down. If you
well,
want to look at the other way, but no, no. It's going. It's getting point. It's like what politics are there? It was just making fun of that T-shirt. The
oh, that's
force.
all they need.
Yeah,
They only need one little thing. But it also,
exactly.
I have to express to the chat. It does hurt my head to try to get inside the brain of these people. I need a Excedrin.
Yeah.
I also wonder if all of you guys have noticed all along here that Brett Booth is at Demon Puppy. Hmm, very interesting, Demon Puppy. The real official Amazing Adam, it's a cool name. He says the real official 9 replying to at Demon Puppy, also satire too.
No, it fails at that as well.
Go ahead and read. I like beer. Do you like beer?
I like beer. Do you like beer? Its satire is ironic, but you're not wrong. We should be above that.
I don't agree with that. They can do whatever they want to do. If they sell, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It did pretty well. It doesn't come off as either. Sorry. Well, now I have to be honest. Brett is not going into crazy land like a lot of them do. But Jess
Mhm.
Ruffner Booth says satire works best, in my opinion, when it makes what's being satirized look silly or unreasonable. The image doesn't work that way for me, as I'm obviously not the target audience. That's the thing, though. As creatives, we don't get to tell people how to interpret our work.
If it has to be explained, it doesn't work.
You don't have to explain. It's very, very clear. It's mocking Marvel Comics. It's quite clear. Um,
Yeah.
Now they could continue here. Target. Oh, these guys are kind of stroking themselves. It looks like. Uh, but let's see. Good. Da, 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 da. We don't have to read it all. It just goes on and on and on. But I have
Uh,
to say, he doesn't
Stop.
go crazy.
So here's from another creator, the
Mm.
artist from Brutus the Badass, that says that particular character is a psychotic killer dressed like Santa in the book, I believe. That's why there's blood. At Ecard Press can correct me,
Mm.
and you can read that.
Mm. Brett
I,
says, "I get it. Doesn't change anything. Other pigs didn't have blood. Also, it is political. That it was a spoof doesn't change that it's a rebuttal." Okay, I don't really have a lot of trouble with what Brett Booth is at Demon Puppy is doing here. He's just stating his opinion, arguing. He's not going crazy. He's not calling for, sanctions or anything like that. He's just giving
mm,
his opinion. It's not that big a deal. We've seen a lot worse, and that's a nice picture. Thank you very much, Canyon White. Thank you. Yes.
Tank Ferret says if one satire isn't offending someone, it's weak satire.
Okay. Da da da. Da, da, da. Let's just go through this real quick. I don't want to keep doing it. Yeah, he's sticking just to what he thinks. He's not calling for a banning or boycott or anything. Cool. It's just the typical way of looking at things. But to be fair, Antonio did to put that there to cause angst amongst them. So, let's go see what the chat has to say, man.
Yeah.
We covered that pretty well, guys. So let's see if you got anything to any input on this. Tank Ferret here says it took the point of that's a villain, and we were supposed to hate the vile thing villains do. Yeah, exactly. Um James S. It's Janelle. You can go through here and look for stuff too if you want. I'll just cover a couple real quick.
Sure.
James S. says it's like Brett Booth suddenly doesn't understand art. Ray Thulu says it has been covered with lotion. It should have looked like a Mm. Tank Ferret says, one satire isn't offending someone. It's weak satire. Okay.
Yeah, so Sierra Whiskey said, I really enjoyed the new Dread movie. Yeah, with Carl Urban. That was a really good Judge Dredd movie.
That was a
Uh,
great movie.
and I can't wait for the boys um, coming in because he's the main guy.
Yeah, I'm just reading boosters here. How do we know that's female blood? We don't know about Santana yet. He might be very feminist. It's true. He could be.
Maybe that
Yeah.
was his period, you know?
Oh, come on, Denelli. This is a family show, I think. Booster, is this a family show? I should have asked that question.
You're asking the wrong guy.
I am asking the wrong guy. All right, well, let's move on, guys. But that is an interesting article, and I have to say one thing. Brett Booth did not go overboard, so that's really cool. Now, the last bit of news we want to cover today um, is something that's very cool, and it's what we want more of. So, all of you guys that are listening, please do as has been done here. This is an article that was put into FanSpeak, and it's dealing directly with questions that we have brought up in FanSpeak live on Fridays, and that's very cool. That's what we want. We want this kind of stuff, and we're going to read them online. And this is the Chronicles of the Eight, and you said this is from Dr. Wright, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Now it says Comicsgate and marketing outside EVS. Do you want me to read this, or you want to take it?
You can read it.
Sure. No, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read the whole thing. I want to see what Mr. Wright has to say.
Sure.
So lately, a hot button issue with the scope of Comicsgate fans has been the idea of marketing the concept and the comics outside the inclusive community that EVS has built. Make no mistake, EVS is the engine that drives Comicsgate at the moment. That's true. Richard is like our General Hawk, and EVS is Duke. G.I. Joe references. Longtime 80s cartoon fans know exactly what I mean with that comment. Most of the successful creators in Comicsgate, except Mitch, Elizabeth, and Richard, have one thing in common. They were able to appear on EVS's show. Nasser, Mike, Doug, Antonio, Kanan, Donald, Critias, etc. all owe their impetus of awareness to EVS. Now, to EVS's part, he routinely asserts to everyone that they need to make their own platform. True. And the older guys have taken this to heart and started pushing to get outside audiences. Doug, with his Christian philosophic and gaming contacts, Mike with Games of Thrones and Drawn and Quartered shows, plus the inclusion of his own family. By the way, on Wednesday this week at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, come and check out Drawn and Quartered, the fan edition. I will be hosting this on this channel. That is a great show. But yes, that it is very true. But for the most part, creators are only utilizing the community that already exists. This is a mistake, as it means that we're basically depending on 1 to 3 people to be the entire market economy. As a whole, Comicsgate needs to learn how to market themselves, grow their own communities, and bring more people to the Comicsgate dinner table. That way, everybody gets to eat more. Yes, that's a clap.
Yeah.
Just give a clap to Dr. Wright. Thank you, Dr. Wright. Yes,
and that's basically what we've been talking about. That's been the main barrier about Comicsgate.
It is. And, Gary Shipman is a perfect example. He went and built up a fan base, then he launched his thing, and he's been successful. He's already double what he wanted. I mean, so it's that's how you do that. Build up your own base. Now, and it's cool that EVS and, John Malin and Mike and all these guys are very helpful and want to grow the community. That is very cool. But this is a perfectly true statement, and I think we all know it. Anyway, he's got some points here, so why don't we just go off and read those? Fortunate for us, he says, this model has already been created. Look no further than the way self-published books and authors market themselves. So, Denelli, go ahead and read number 1, man.
Sure. First, create a website or turn a website you have into a marketing platform for your comic books ideas. Try and make a .com because they're more likely to accrue outside traffic. Within this website, you have your own comic idea laid out simply and show some provocative image that will catch the eye. And if you like to rant like me, then include a blog as well. Anything that will make people interested in you or your ideas. Number 2 is be consistent on social media, but be careful about it. Social media these days is a minefield of potentially explosive conversation and situation waiting to happen. Yes, there are going to be people that are going to be trolling who are, going to be seemingly like genuine people asking genuine questions only to get you to the gacha or draw you into an argument. So if you're going to be using social media, you don't use it to have conversation. Use it as an opportunity to promote your thing. And when you are there, you are your PR person. You are the brand.
Yep.
Anything you say is going to come back to you. So you have to act. Go ahead.
Yeah, you do. And use Instagram. If you're a comic person, use it. Instagram is very popular and it's a visual medium. So that's a big one. Yeah. Go ahead. Finish reading that, man.
Yeah, you still need to be on it. Support the artists you like. Get out there. Show the community who you are and what you think. This will organically grow your following, but it shouldn't be something that you do all the time. Social media is like an apple seed. In small doses, it's fine, but if you consume it by truckload, then it's pure poison. And it's very true. You just send out your tweets, forget about it, and focus on your thing. Take off the notification, whatever.
And a couple of the next few ones he's got here as bullet points, really. Know your pitch. Yeah. Be able to tell what you want to say. Number 4, know your audience. Once again, superheroes. That's what we are. We're superhero comics, which is a funny thing about them trying to turn Marvel into a lifestyle brand because, lifestyle brand basically means Archie. It basically means girl comics, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But Marvel is a superhero comic book company. Superheroes. Yes. Know your audience. 5, be professional. Oh my.
That's very important. That's the most important part.
Now, this one I will take a moment on. I'm not reading the whole body. You guys can read this out yourself because, we know what they're saying by it. He's just giving out more detailed information. But the thing is, with professionality, we see some people in, like the other day, Ethan was having a debate against some guy named Jason Youngbluth. Now, now Ethan was very professional. He kept his calm. He didn't lose his cool at all. Everybody else did, but he didn't. He was professional. And we need to be professional in all ways. When we have open fighting and open silliness and things like that going in the community, that hurts us. It does not help us. And I'm talking to everyone, not just the creators and all the possible potential creators that are coming up. But yes, very good point. And 6, mailing lists. Now, this one right here, let me read this one out. Or actually, Denali, you read this one. Let's see what he's talking about.
Sure. So now I put this one low because it's a great way to market, but it's difficult and usually requires you to have something you can give away for free. MailChimp and other services can help you create a service like this. I don't recommend it. You'll run it out of a basic email, and more or less this is sending out some random adverts on Facebook, Twitter, etc. that talks about your comic, then offering a free sample for free. You can put the sample on any number of free sites, and then people at large will have an offering of your work. Digital samples tend to get less clicks, so the best method for this is to use a physical book. There's thousands of tutorials online for this, and I will not do it justice here. So if you're interested in this method, just be aware there's a massive upfront cost for potential passive gains on the back end.
True. Well, you can't make money without spending money.
Right. And what he's also not including here, mailing list is a way to talk to your subscribers as well.
Yes.
That and updates. So when you are in the mailing list, you can offer special messages or incentives or anything that, because they're part of that subscriber, you get it first, like first chance to get signings, first chance of getting that art or whatever.
Well, let me go ahead and read this article out, and then we'll come back to the chat and talk about it. For new creators, some of this may be daunting. Websites cost money most of the time. Blogs take time. Social media is tedious, etc. However, don't look at this as a singular job. It's all of our job to grow the hobby as creators. Someone I bring into the fold may like your books better than mine, and vice versa. If everyone reaches out every day to just one person, then in a year we have 1,000. We have thousands and possibly hundreds of thousands of new fans. This would increase sales, get more creators on board, grow the community at large, and in general, provide a way for you to ensure your own success. Very good point. This is at Fanspeak. That is exactly what we're doing. We're not creating anything other than, media about what's going on in the community. But every day I'm talking to new people, and I know the rest of the guys are too. Every week we try to get new people on the shows and talk to them, interact with them in the community. This is very, very good point that he's making here. It sounds like Dr. Wright knows what he's doing and he's on point. And I do know that he will be coming out with his own book sooner than later. Any last comments on that before we go over to the chat?
No.
Denali?
Nope, no comments.
Cool.
I think he has a lot of points we were talking about, figuring out a way.
I agree with him 100%. Let's come over to the chat and let's see. It looks like there's some craziness going on. I don't know what's happening. Someone with a wrench is deciding to delete people's messages. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see here. Is there anything I have to cover from you guys? I guess not. I know they're doing their own thing over here. But Booster is either having fun or dealing with a problem. Okay. So yeah, guys, I think it's very cool what was said in the article. I also think it's very cool that it was a Fanspeak submission. And that's what we've been asking you guys for. And we want more of it. We want you to come out, put your submissions in, put your art in, and let's hear what you have to say and let's talk about it. So, any last comments on that before we close out the show here, Denali?
No, I think we're all good here. I think it's we need to tell you what Comics New today was showing.
Yeah, no, I think it was good. We had a fun time. We talked about some interesting news, and we got a great article to read. So everyone, thank you very much. Remember that on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Bugbear's Basement. Wednesday, we had 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We have the Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition, which is going to be very cool. And of course, every day here that we don't have a big live, we are doing the comics news today. So thank you all very much. We had a lot of fun, and we will see you later. Goodbye.
Aloha.